everyone, and welcome to Lambert's lecture room, where he's always at the front of the room. You guessed it, lecturing. Okay, now let's look at his adult learners, who are so excited to be here that their eyes are glazed over? Wait, are they paying attention? Uh-oh, looks like these students aren't getting much out of passively sitting in class watching Lambert talk to the front board. Where's the engagement? This material might be applicable to Lambert students' lives, but they wouldn't know given Lambert's constant use of lecture. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, there's an educational technique called cooperative learning that might be helpful in Lambert's lecture class. Now, most of you might have experienced or heard about this type of learning in the K-12 setting. There has been so much research studying the effectiveness of teachers and student learning regarding this strategy, but I'm really focused on adult learning, or andragogy. Now, cooperative learning is a type of collaborative learning, which is sometimes referred to as peer learning, active learning, and group work. However, cooperative learning is so much more. It's a student-centered approach where, and I quote, planning, teaching, and assessment revolve around the needs and abilities of the students. Teachers using this strategy play the role of the facilitator in learning. So basically, teachers are using these strategies to minimize the traditional teacher-centered approach. Just like the ones that Lambert is using. American adult educator Knowles, the person to actually adopt andragogy, stressed that adult learners need independence, self-direction, ownership of learning, relevant applicable contexts, and the sharing of life experiences as a source of knowledge. According to Tibbetts and Hector Mason, cooperative learning is one key instructional approach derived from past research and practice that has been shown to address the targeted needs of students. Okay, I get it. Enough about how great cooperative learning is. You're probably wondering, what is it actually? Cooperative learning involves small teams of individuals who explore a topic together, all the while ultimately gaining a more in-depth insight of material. The whole idea of making coursework meaningful and constructing understanding as a critical learning component requires active learning as opposed to the wah-wah passive learning that is reflected in our friend Lambert's class. Now, there are 5 major components of cooperative learning, which includes number 1, face-to-face interaction. Number 2, positive goal interdependence. Number 3, individual accountability. Number 4, group processing in an interpersonal small group. And number 5, social skills. In these small groups, adult learners are able to share their strengths, acknowledge and work on their weaknesses, and continue to develop interpersonal skills. So, in a typical cooperative learning lesson, the groups are a place where learners are actively participating, teachers learn and learners teach, members are respected and feel safe within the group, activities are challenging and are of interest to the learners. Hey, learners actually are learning from the challenges. Diversity is celebrated and is incorporated within the activity because past experience is part of the learning experience. Goals are clearly identified, resources are provided and are accessible, and finally, learners are invested in their own learning, group processing, and are held accountable as a group and as individuals. Each group member is assigned to a predetermined role and is responsible for his or her part. This feeds into the positive interdependence within the group for a task to be completed, as well as being held individually accountable. Okay, now the part we all hate, the problem. The problem with implementing cooperative learning strategies is that many programs and instructors vary in how they implement collaborative or cooperative practices. This oftentimes depends on a variety of factors, like instructor familiarity with the approach, program funding, student interests, and finally, motivation. Another problem is that at first, Lambert might feel a little uncomfortable letting the reins go a bit because he's so used to a teacher-centered approach. So it's not uncommon for teachers to feel like they need to lead the groups. But what he and other teachers who want to use this approach need to realize is that his goal has changed from the ultimate transmitter of knowledge to now the facilitator of knowledge. Monitoring, assisting, and evaluating is absolutely key. To do this effectively, Lambert needs to move among the groups to keep students actively engaged in their roles. Okay, now that that's over, you know the problem, let's talk about the benefits of cooperative learning. This type of teaching strategy has had so many powerful effects of student learning. In particular, many benefits are noted with low-achieving adult learners. It has also been linked to educational outcomes that are in the hidden curriculum. These outcomes include critical thinking, metacognition, and motivation. Using the types of approaches that allow students to work together, use their knowledge, and communicate actually promote and empower students to be lifelong, self-directed learners. Additionally, this strategy welcomes flexibility within its implementation, so instructors can use their knowledge about the population of adult learners to construct the groups. For example, Lambert might want to group 3 students together who teach grades 1 to 3, who also share a similar perspective. Or he could pair each student heterogeneously with students in different career fields to gain many different perspectives. So here, anything goes. Okay, well maybe not anything because it takes much planning on Lambert's part to know what types of grouping will be best for his lesson and for the students in the class. But you get my gist. It gives Lambert and his students the flexibility to grow with each other and to have fun with learning. Now, let's do a wrap-up. Beware, cooperative learning is more than just having students work in groups. It takes much planning and foresight for a group activity to be considered cooperative learning. This teaching and learning strategy has had many benefits on adult learning, but major changes may be required for some programs and instructors. We have moved into a knowledge value era that requires students to shift from learning isolated skills for a particular career to learning a variety of skills that allow them to seamlessly shift from one to another in our ever-changing job market. Instructors like Lambert, who really do have the best intentions and want to improve engagement of all adult learners, should ensure that course activities promote multiple pathways for learning and plenty of opportunities for group discussion and teamwork. It requires a willingness to participate, a clear vision on the instructor's part, and clear goals. You could really think of it as the gift of empowerment through a supportive environment for both Lambert and his adult learners. So, what do you think? I think Lambert and his students all look so happy and are ready for the future because they're using cooperative learning. Want to learn more about cooperative learning because you're so inspired by this video? Check out these resources and videos listed below.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, Cooperative Learning. Now, let's begin with the question of why should educators use cooperative learning in the classroom? Teachers should not come to class with the same lesson plans each and every day. Change things up. Allow students to hear a voice of someone different. Allow them to hear the voice of their peers. This way, students get a break from boring teacher lectures. Cooperative learning is a great strategy because it's all about the students and their own thoughts and ideas. The students are actually the center of learning, not the teacher. As teachers, we have a responsibility to prepare students for most careers which happen to require people to work in groups with others. Cooperative learning is a key component of 21st century life skills. Ultimately, we are smarter together as a group than we are apart as individuals. A common question is, how do we group students for cooperative learning? It is best to group students deliberately, and the first thing to consider when grouping students are their academic abilities and their test scores. So consider grouping students by performance level, homogeneous grouping for students with similar performance levels, and heterogeneous grouping for different performance levels. Student safety is always the #1 priority. Avoid bullying situations. Therefore, consider grouping students for harmonious and safe environments. Another possibility for grouping is a random approach. In that case, there is no particular rhyme or reason for placing any one student in a group as opposed to placing them in another group. Random grouping is sometimes used when teachers are looking to shake things up. When students are grouped together, things can get out of control pretty quickly. To keep order, assign students specific roles within the group, therefore assigning responsibilities to its members. Always remember, the best grouping scenario is one where students are both safe and learning. Now it's time to look at some classroom examples for our teachers. It should be noted that there are many different strategies. The first strategy is think, pair, share. Students are first given a question to work on. Then they are grouped into pairs. Once grouped, they can compare answers and discuss their different perspectives. Sometimes they are asked to come up with a single answer and then share that answer with the entire class. The jigsaw learning model. Students are assigned into different groups. The first group they are assigned to is the home group. Each student is given a different topic to study. That student joins other students with the same topic, the expert group, and shares ideas on that topic. Lastly, students come back to the home group and share what they learned from the expert group. There are many different project-based learning examples that allow students to work in groups and solve different real-world problems. Project-based learning should be aligned to standards and based around a driving inquiry question. Before we finish, let's consider some cautions and dangers for cooperative learning. First off, whenever students are placed in groups, there's a tendency to talk. Students will have conversations because students tend to socialize when given a chance. So teachers must be vigilant and keep a close eye on students. Also, group sizes should be no larger than 3 to 4 students. The large number of students placed in the group, the less work that gets done. In psychology, it's called the Ringelmann effect. For cooperative learning to work efficiently, require submission of student work. Make sure these lessons have learning goals and objectives that students must meet. Lastly, because cooperative learning is group work, some students will look to take advantage of that and do little to no work, and allow their peers to do all the work. As a teacher, you must ensure individual accountability to each student.
We're gonna pretend the whole class is one group. And we wanna see how well you work together. You need to get in line by the day you were born without talking.
Because we teach group work to our students, they know they have a piece to contribute.
No words.
They know how to use their resources in other people, and they know how to build ideas together.
Now we're gonna say the day you were born.
7, 9,
9,
10, 11.
Woohoo! We got it!
We are an all honors curriculum here, which means we're providing high-level instruction from grades 7 to 12. Given that, however, we have entirely heterogeneous classes where you've got kids of all different previous levels of achievement.
At University Park, you're going to see group work from grades 7 all the way to grades 12. We start in 7th grade with roles and responsibilities.
You want to make sure you understand what are the responsibilities of each of the roles that you've been given.
I don't think group work comes naturally. I think it's something that they have to learn.
1 + 8.
Today we were learning about integers, positive and negative numbers. Now it's time to take the basic skills and transfer it into real-world solving problems.
The person who's the questionnaire, you will come up and get the problem because you have to read the problem to your group partners.
For this particular activity, we give roles. There would be a questioner, a summarizer, and a clarifier.
The clarifier will set up the problem, make sure each group member agrees with the plan.
One side of the paper that I gave them would be prompts, so that it helps them take away that nervousness because it says, oh, you have to say something.
If you're not sure how to start the conversation, if you want to say something, use those sheets.
Get a clarifier. Oh, this paper's pink.
Teachers want us to learn with each other so we can all know what different ways you can solve the problem and not just the teacher's way. I personally really love that because I like to experience how other people solve the problem, so see if I can have a strategy for that too.
Is it done by the end of the year? By no means. No. I mean, it's a struggle day in and day out for sure. But they definitely get better at it.
Yeah.
We're not just pushing desks together and thinking that's group work now, but really giving challenging assignments that require multiple voices, that require people to have a role in building knowledge together.
And so we build it that way. We'll kind of pull away some of the scaffolds as the kids get older, and then you can really see them working together in a collaborative way.
So it's 7.5 by 7.5.
We're making a polynomial cube. He's working on like the bigger box so we can put things in, and I'm working on the smaller pieces for now.
We're starting unit on polynomials.
It'll be similar to what you did here.
When you're dealing with polynomials, you're dealing with dimensionality, so they're all building 8 shapes with an outer box, hopefully to tie together the symbolic and the spatial.
Which one do you want to do? 7.5.
By the 7.5 cube?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll do one of the 12.5s by 7.5.
Okay.
A good group work problem, it's got to be so big that you need your partner to help decide on the organization, to try this while you're trying something related to it.
Starting this project, I was really confused because this class is fairly difficult. But I find that when you go to other classmates, it helps like tremendously.
And then they can be talking to the other groups around them and seeing maybe a different way to tweak their process.
So what he did was he came up here and drew each box that this group had. Although we're in our own individual groups, it's very helpful to go into another group and ask questions. When you finally get to the answer, it sticks with you longer than the teacher just telling you the answer. Oh, I see.
The world, more and more, relies on people being able to work together, to collaboratively solve problems.
Anna could do counting how much money we have, and then y'all can do how much everything is in total.
You know, I have kids come to me every single day. I had 4 7th graders come to me the other day. They want to do a bake sale to raise money for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
So all the money we make in the bake sale is going to go towards this charity.
So you've got some people on board already to help out, and you're going to stay after today?
Yeah, but they just need to know when they have to have it by. So
They see the value in teamwork. Well, you can go put Friday on that announcement.
all right.
And we'll go on Friday.
Yay!
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.